Guys, do you hear that? Can you hear it? What is that? What can you hear? I'll tell you what that is. It's nothing. That is the sound of nothing. That is the sound of developers planning and making games behind closed doors without telling us anything about them. What is happening with new Star Wars games at the moment? All right, yes, I know, coming soon. We have new Lego Star Wars Hunters, the Knights of the Old Republic remake, Jedi Fallen Order 2, and Ubisoft's open world Star Wars game. But where has everyone gone? We're less than a week away from E3, so in a few days we'll hopefully be hearing much more about the future of Star Wars games, but for the first time since like 2014, EA Star Wars' Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube have all gone dark. Where is everyone? And where is EA specifically? Because they're the ones we're all looking to, considering they're the ones who are supposedly making lots of new Star Wars games. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Now, there's a bit of a misconception that EA are no longer making Star Wars games. If you've been following Star Wars gaming news for a while, then you'll know that this simply isn't true. There are more EA Star Wars games in the works, even if we know nothing about them just yet. Nothing at all. Calamari Kestis gonna get stabbed by Darth Vader sometime soon. But as far as we know, EA are still doubling down on their production of new Star Wars games, whatever that means. All that's happened in the past few months is that EA no longer holds an exclusive license to make Star Wars games, meaning they are still making Star Wars games, but so too are other publishers and developers. Like Star Wars Hunters is a game being made by Zynga, and the open world Star Wars game that was announced a few months ago is being developed by Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment, the same guys that made the Division games, which are also open world. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I wanted to discuss exactly why EA Star Wars specifically have been on the lowdown and how this is something we haven't seen in ages and why it means something huge is coming. Okay, so sure, there was that brief period following Battlefront 2015's final updates before Battlefront 2 was announced, where everything was kind of hush-hush and quiet and we didn't know anything about Battlefront 2. And then there was heavy marketing for months. We got Iden Versio, the whole story mode, multiplayer, all three eras, so much content, until Battlefront 2's launch didn't go exactly as planned. And then again, a brief period of silence until Clone Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, Star Wars Squadrons, which brings us to now. EA Star Wars' YouTube channel hasn't posted a new video or trailer or update or anything in nearly 6 months. Last thing they posted was the surprise B-Wing and TIE Defender update for Squadrons, completely out of the blue and unexpected and awesome, but still a little thin on the content side of things. A few months before this was all the Squadrons marketing, the amazing Hunted CG short film, really breathtaking stuff, but since then, not a whisper, not a mention or a comment or anything. At the moment, we're just trusting that EA are indeed working on new Star Wars games behind the scenes, and that's all we really have to go on. In the past, I've gone through which EA studios could potentially be developing new Star Wars games. We know Respawn are, of course, currently building Jedi Fallen Order sequel, and it's possible they've also got something else in the works. Who knows? They're amazing at making games. They made Apex and Titanfall games and Jedi Fallen Order, so they know what they're doing with both third and first person games. DICE are also just about to reveal the new Battlefield to the world in only a few days' time, which means that by now this game would be close to completion, and hopefully they'll be stepping things up with a potential new Star Wars project if DICE are given the opportunity to build something new. And there are other studios that could potentially have something in the works. Are BioWare, who built the Old Republic and the original KOTOR, although they have nothing to do with the remake. There's Criterion, the Star Wars pod racing game perhaps would be amazing considering the studio's expertise in vehicles and racing games. DICE LA, who are usually a sports studio but are now led by Respawn's founder Vince Zampella, who was heavily involved in Jedi Fallen Order's development, and Motive, who built Squadrons. So lots of speculation and opportunity for new games from all these studios. But which studio will lead the charge over the next few years for EA Star Wars? What's strange right now is the only game that still has an active live service is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game, and even if you can call it a live service with how quiet their developers stay. This game recently received Bad Batch updates, and as far as I know, is the only Star Wars game to receive any Bad Batch content. But maybe they wanted to see how popular the show would be before actually making games and content about it, or maybe they're building a Bad Batch game and getting ready to release it alongside Season 2 next year or later this year, or who knows when. But just just another idea. At this year's EA Play Live, I think we can expect some massive Star Wars news and reveals, and there's a big reason for this. For the first time ever, EA have decided to set EA Play Live more than a month after E3. EA Play Live is on July 22nd, when it's usually right in the middle of June. They usually fall within the same week and have been held at the same time, E3 and EA Play. So why is EA Play Live a whole month later this year? Well, to me, this says that EA have something massive planned. They want to set themselves apart from all other gaming announcements and releases because they're planning on revealing a few huge titles. They don't want their announcements to coincide with other developers and publishers, so they're holding their online event a month later to create as much noise around their event and their games as possible, which is a great thing. That's my theory anyway, but I guess now that people aren't physically traveling to LA to experience and go to these events, E3 and EA Play Live both held in LA at the same time, now that there are online events, EA have the opportunity to make a massive bang and get people looking their way. Most people who go to EA Play Live will go to E3 and vice versa. That's why they're held in the same week, and if they're held separately, then it's likely less people would go to both of these, I guess. But to me, this lack of social media content from EA seems like the calm before the storm. They have some huge announcements brewing and are keeping on the lowdown for now as they get ready to reveal some new titles to the world. Same thing happened before Battlefront 2, it was real quiet after Battlefront 1 for a while. We had the updates, we had Rogue One, the final update in 2016, and then a few months of nothing until, bam, we're making Battlefront 2. In 2 to 3 years' time, I think it's possible we'll have up to 5 new Star Wars games released, especially now that other publishers are working on Star Wars games. By then, the new LEGO Star Wars will surely be out. Hopefully we don't have to wait too much longer for that. We'll also have Star Wars Hunters, that mysterious game we'll hopefully hear more about within the next week or so at E3. Jedi Fallen Order 2 will also hopefully be out by then, and hopefully we'll be hearing something about this game at EA Play Live in late July. Hopefully we get like a name of the game. What's it called? Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi, the Order has continued to fall and is now on the ground, and Calamari Kestis has been stabbed by Darth Vader. And I'm sure there's more we'll hear about in the next month. Like I said, this feels like the calm before the storm. We're about to be hit with a wave of new games and experiences that are currently in the works. Even if we don't get any trailers or reveals, hopefully we'll at least hear some announcements and actually know what's happening. Now, there is one issue I wanted to discuss with all this. There's a chance that something that happened over 20 years ago could happen again, and that was an oversaturation of Star Wars games. Some people think, especially people who worked on those Star Wars games, that just after The Phantom Menace, there were too many Star Wars games made in a really short period of time. Remember, back then, Star Wars was buzzing more than ever. There was so much excitement about Star Wars, and for the first time since the original trilogy, new Star Wars films and content were being released. And with that, LucasArts were pushing more and more Star Wars games out the door, and not all of them good, and that's the issue. A lot of the Star Wars games released at this time kind of sucked. Look at Masters of Terras Kasi, Star Wars Demolition, Super Bombad Racing, Star Wars Obi-Wan. Look at this! There were 9 Star Wars games released between 1999 and 2001. Look at that list. And not to mention, lots of these were released for different consoles and devices, meaning different versions needed to be made. There were handheld versions. That's an insane amount of Star Wars games, but only a handful of them you'd really call good games. I mean, sure, they all have their quirks and are all kind of cute in their own way, but something to note, back then, LucasArts were really pushed beyond their limit when they were making Star Wars games. They all worked overtime and were responsible for developing a lot of the games released in this period, and in some cases, this led to Star Wars games failing. Not all these games were a commercial or critical success. They were riddled with bugs and issues, especially a game like Star Wars Demolition. It's very, very broken. So what I'm trying to say is there's a chance of this kind of thing happening again now, with all the new streaming shows, the new films, and everything planned for Star Wars over the next few years. Is it possible we'll see a decline in Star Wars' popularity and its quality as well? Will people get tired of Star Wars? Well, honestly, no, I don't think so. There are too many stories to tell in this universe for it to get boring anytime soon. And now that multiple publishers and developers are working on new Star Wars titles and EA no longer have the pressure of being the only developer, hopefully each new Star Wars release will be of high quality quality and not rushed, and we won't see this happen again because so many people will be making the games. I'm glad this pressure's been taken off EA as well. I'm glad that they're not solely responsible for making AAA Star Wars titles, and hopefully a lot of good comes out of it over the next 3, 4, 5 years. And hopefully we hear more within the next week, and I'd love to know what you guys think. Are we going to see new Star Wars games revealed in the next month or so at E3 EA Play? And if so, what do you think they'll be? Let me know in the comments. And for more on recent Star Wars games, Star Wars gaming, Star Wars A Bad Batch, you can watch one of these videos here, and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord. I'm going to be tweeting a lot over E3 EA Play, try and, keep a lot of stuff happening on the social medias, so come follow me on those, and thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew, I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.